Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public service announcement. For regular viewers and listeners of AWI Pod, please do not be offended, as this program contains good wrestling.
It's my life in the box in front of me. The guitar in my arms is the soul of me. You walk by, ask to see me lay face down. Your hands on the sword in your hand.
Welcome, everybody, to its episode 7 of WarING to Attitude. I am your host, Brent Piles, and as always, I don't come alone. I have my partner from across the ocean and from the future. He is the barroom brawl and disco dance and dynamite stretch and intercontinental playboy. Folks, he's more over than I don't know what, because I don't ever plan this thing like Jeremy used to. Glenn Abbott. Glenn, how you doing?
That's fine. That's fine. It's been one of those nights. Anybody that's watching this on YouTube can see that I've had to decamp again. I'm not in my usual seat, and it annoys me. It annoys me.
Yeah, me and Glenn voiced our frustrations with humanity before we got on the podcast, but we're not going to do that here today. Because
No. It's
a whole bunch of other podcasts.
This is a positive, safe space. This is
most of the time. We try to be anyway. Sometimes we're not, but sometimes we are.
Well, as our rants are always constructive, I'd hope.
Right, I don't just rant for the sake of ranting. At least I don't think I do. There might be some people out there that disagree. Well, I want to first, we thanked everybody last week for jumping the numbers up on YouTube, but we want to go ahead and do it again because we got to almost 100 views on this show, on the episode 6 show.
Wow.
Which for some people might not be a big accomplishment, but for us it is. So thanks to everybody who's been watching. If you're continuing to watch, please make sure you subscribe and like the videos and share them with a friend. Tell people that we're doing great things, or we're funny, or we're stupid, whatever you want to say. I don't care. Just keep listening.
Yeah, the stupid bit's probably right.
Yeah,
that's it.
I've been called stupid.
Reviewing a good era, and people have got fond memories of it. So
absolutely. So yeah, thanks everybody for that. And I think let's see. You got any other pressing news you want to get to before we jump into this thing?
No, I don't think so. All the other sports sort of depressing at the moment.
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about what may happen to Arsenal in a couple of days.
Like I said, that's going to be an NFL score.
It's going to be a 6-3 final score. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, let's do this. It's February 3rd, 1997. We are at the Sky Dome in Toronto, Canada. They are referring to this as Royal Rumble Raw, but you will not get any Royal Rumble anything besides highlights at the top of this show. And this is also the very first 2-hour broadcast of Monday Night Raw. And this was actually shot on January 31st and aired on the 3rd. So
you forgot something.
What did I forget?
The Vince kept on saying about it.
Oh yeah. So we always find something on the shows that's repetitive, and we say, all right, this is the drinking game. So the WarING to Attitude episode 7 drinking game is going to be every single time that Vince reminds you that they give you what they tell you that they're going to give you in WWE. There's no bait and switches, even though
That's the
last
one.
week they told me I was going to get the Royal Rumble 1997 match, and this week I'm not. So I found that very fucking hilarious that he keeps bringing up about this bait and switch when they totally did a bait and switch.
Yeah, that's right. And the other one, of course, is Thursday. Thursday gets mentioned a hell of a lot.
Yeah, because they've got our next review, episode 8, will be the Thursday Raw Thursday review.
Thursday Raw Thursday. On a Thursday. That's just after this Thursday, before next Thursday. And there was that sort of
Yeah, it was that kind of thing, bro. They wanted to make sure you knew that Thursday Raw Thursday was on a Thursday.
a Thursday. Yeah.
Because there's so many Thursdays. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday.
Yeah.
I suppose that's why there was 2 Thursdays. A little information on the Sky Dome, since I always like to do this. It's now known as the Rogers Center. It was opened in June of 1989. The venue was noted as the first stadium with a fully retractable roof. It also has a 340-room hotel attached to the stadium with 40 rooms that overlook the field, which I did not know that. And I think that would be really cool to go stay in your hotel room and like watch the Blue Jays play from your hotel room. That'd be fucking sweet.
It certainly would.
Absolutely, it would. I mean, I'll never get into candles because I'm a criminal, but if I could, that'd be really cool. Held WrestleMania 6, another episode of Monday Night Raw on February 13th of 1999, and of course, WrestleMania 18. And Glenn, the big news is you can head over to Toronto right now and see a British gentleman by the name of Ed Sheeran at the Rogers Center on June 17th and 18th. Or Glenn, if you're heading to Toronto, you can see the Beyonce Renaissance World Tour on July 8th and 9th. Get your tickets now, Glenn, if you want to head over to Toronto. So be on the lookout for that.
I pass. I'll pass on those things.
You're not a big Beyonce guy?
Yeah, she's all right.
Yeah, she's fine. She's no Taylor Swift. I might get some.
I like some of the music. Some good dance tunes, but
she did, yeah. It's just not really, my cup of tea.
It's not something that I would listen to relax and chill out to. No,
I would go to the concert because, as my friend once said to me when he was going to go to a Cardi B concert, I don't have to like the music to enjoy the show. We started off with a hell of a match, Glenn. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vader. They show Vader in the ring, and they cut to Bret Hart, who was angrily pacing back and forth in his locker room. He's pissed.
I have it here that he was stomping around because he was stomping. He wasn't just pacing. He was an angry man.
He looked like a child who didn't get what they wanted at Toys R Us.
Yeah,
what he looked like. Yeah, he looked like an angry child. They Austin makes his way down to the ring. He starts jawing with Vader, and then he is attacked from behind by Bret Hart. They start brawling. Vader pulls Bret Hart off of them. They brawl as well. This continues onto the outside of the ring before they can finally get Bret to the back with some officials and finally get the match started between Austin and Vader. Glenn, what do you think about this one?
This begs the question, really. He's stomping around at the back there, but he's in his ring gear. Now, he's not scheduled for a match. Surely somebody has gone, what is Bret doing in his ring gear, wandering around the locker room? He's obviously up to no good.
Yeah, if I was Steve Austin, I'd be a little iffy on that situation. They get back in the ring. Austin starts stomping on Vader's head right when he gets back in. Austin then spat at Vader and then turned his back on him, which I didn't think was a very smart idea.
That was the point that Vader started potatoing him. He gave a thump across the back and then started taking it out on him a bit because he spat on him.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to spit on Vader, I certainly wouldn't turn around and walk away from him after I did, that's for sure. And then we got like a weird ref bump.
Yes.
Got like a weird ref bump, like right in the middle of the match, and then nothing came of it. They like got the ref bump, and then they went to commercial, came back, refs up, everything's fine. It's just weird because you expect like when the ref bump happens, I'm thinking, all right, Bret Hart's gonna hit the ring again, or Mankind, or somebody's gonna hit the ring again. But then they just go to commercial, they come back, and the referee's up. Like there's nothing. I just didn't understand why they even did.
Yeah. Well, it needed to be up again so that he could look away as Stone Cold kicked Vader in the nuts.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably what it was. He kicked Vader right in the old mommy daddy button, as I like to say. I wrote in my notes here again about Vince McMahon makes another comment about the bait and switch situation, which I just every time he said it during this whole show, I would just laugh because they literally did the exact thing that he's saying they wouldn't do. They exactly did the exact same thing a week before.
I don't know what it. There must have been something that went on in WCW that week or just before.
Yeah,
They promised something that they didn't fulfill, or because he was being very smug about it too.
Yeah, it kind of gave me the whole, and they bring this up again later on, the whole Robin Hood and La Femme Nikita vibes, just like they're just throwing shade at them. So yeah, I didn't look and see what happened on WCW that week, but there had to have been some sort of weird thing that happened in the main event. Yeah, Austin hits a low blow. Austin is stomping Vader in the ropes. The referee tries to pull Austin off, who he then kicks the referee in the gut, hits him with the stunner, which brings the match to a close. Vader wins by disqualification.
That was a lame ass stunner, that one. That was as bad as the one that Vince took last WrestleMania.
Well, I don't know if it was that bad.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good. And somebody might correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the person reffing this match was like the timekeeper, Mark Eaton, who's the guy reffing this match. He's usually the timekeeper. And I guess they just wanted to throw him in there for a stunner. I don't even know why, but they did.
They couldn't find any of the proper referees that would volunteer to take one.
So they just didn't tell him. They just threw him a ref shirt and told him to get him. Yeah, Vader and Austin then brawl on the outside. Vader gets thrown to the steps. The guys brawl up the aisleway. Vader is the winner by disqualification. And then we got a video package hyping. Of course, we just talked about the Raw Thursday, where we will have Psycho Sid versus Shawn Michaels for the title. Or will we? And Bret Hart versus Vader.
Yeah.
Glenn, do you know why Raw was moved from Monday to Thursday for this show, for this big Raw Thursday?
Is it a sports reason?
I mean, some people might consider this a sport, but it's not sports. It has to do with dogs. It's the Westminster Dog Show, Glenn. They used to have that on Monday nights.
Right.
Back in the day, they would always preempt Raw. And I've heard stories of Vince McMahon absolutely hating the fact that they couldn't show Raw because it was the goddamn dog show. I think that might even been one of the contributing factors to why they ended up going to TNN for a while, is because they wouldn't give up this whole dog show. As you'll know now, the dog show doesn't preempt Raw anymore. So
no. The dog show is no more, or is it? I suppose it's still going, but it's like the Battersea Dog Show over here. It doesn't. It used to be a big thing on the TV, but it's not anymore. It's sort of tucked away somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's on CNBC or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, NBC owns all that shit anyway, so they could have moved it to whatever channel they wanted to. But you got like 400 channels as opposed to only having like 70 channels in 1997. And there was still nothing on, and there's still nothing on today, which is amazing. Our next match was Flash Funk taking on Savio Vega. The weirdest thing about this, Glenn, is they're walking down to the ring, the whole Nation of Domination, and here comes JR. It looked like JR joined the Nation.
Joined the Nation. In his big cowboy hat.
It's a big black cowboy hat. I was just like, I just saw JR's walking with him. I'm like, hold on, JR joined the Nation? And they have JR interview Savio Vega, and he explains why he joined the Nation of Domination. Well, sort of. And let's have a listen here of what he had to say.
To me right now, I don't care what you fans think about it. The Nation of Domination is going to be number one in the World Wrestling Federation. Now, all the Latin American people is going to be proud of Savio Vega. I don't care what you think. I don't care what everybody thinks. Nation of Domination is going to rule the World Wrestling Federation.
All right, thank you very much, JR. By the way,
I promise everybody that Savio Vega's promos do get better.
They've been better than they were there. Yeah, absolutely. He's kind of did the same thing over and over again. That was a very Psycho Sid-esque promo, which we'll hear one of those later too.
Yeah.
And of course, we now know officially that Savio Vega is a bad guy because he came out to the ring in a long dark coat and sunglasses indoors. And if that doesn't say heel in wrestling, I don't know what does.
I love that they said on commentary that Savio has turned his back on his thousands of millions of fans.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got thousands of millions of fans.
The dozens of Savio Vega fans out there are so disappointed by him joining the Nation of Domination. This is someone finally, Glenn, that we haven't seen in any of the shows that we've watched besides maybe the Royal Rumble. Flash Funk. We hadn't seen anybody Flash Funk yet. What'd you think of this whole weird Flash Funk gimmick, taking Too Cold Scorpio and making him Flash Funk?
It wasn't that much different, really.
Just some weird dancing all the way through. But I guess he kind of danced as Too Cold, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. The gimmick actually isn't that much different. It was when he was Too Cold in WCW. It was different to how he was portrayed when he first came to WWF.
Right.
So I suppose then they decided that he would be Flash Funk instead.
And he didn't have him with him tonight, but he usually has the Funkettes with him. And they would
the Funkettes. Yeah, the Funkettes.
Oh, Flash, you are so funky. I remember.
Yeah. That was a highlight of his.
It really was. He did a lot of cool high flying moves in here. I mean, obviously, Too Cold Scorpio was like ahead of his time, and he did things like a cruiserweight, but he was bigger than a cruiserweight. You know what I mean? Like he was a big guy and still doing cruiserweight stuff. He dove off the top rope onto the floor onto downtown D'Lo Brown, but then he missed the moonsault, and Savio rolled him up for the pin. I don't know, short and sweet match, but it was fun. What do you think?
Yeah. Again, it's too much interference from outside again.
Yeah.
The one thing that seems to be common through all these shows is the amount of ref bumps and distractions there are in each match.
Yeah.
And it's not just one or two, it's every single match that something happens.
A lot of screwy finishes.
Yeah, a lot of screwy finishes.
I've noticed too. And I know people nowadays get really mad about screwy finishes, but those are all the same people that say it was so much better back in the day. Well, it looks like it was kind of fucking the same.
It was exactly the same.
It was exactly the same. The next thing we get is always good, Glenn. It was an in-ring interview with Psycho Sid. You know, every time he gets on the mic, any pure comedy gold could ensue.
They had those two wonderful wordsmiths in the ring, Vince and Sid.
I thought it was JR. Maybe it was Sid.
No, it was Vince.
Okay.
It was Vince.
That makes sense. Yeah. You guys who know their way around a promo. JR asks Sid for his true feelings about Shawn Michaels. He calls it a friendship on the edge of madness. Now, speaking of the edge of madness, let's hear what Sid had to say in this promo.
I heard Shawn say it himself. The relationship him and I have, it's a weird one. It's a roller coaster, up and down, mentally, physically, and emotionally. You can say it's a friendship, maybe on the edge of madness. With saying that, I feel safe to say that even Shawn Michaels would agree that evil is just that. It is evil. And sometimes we mistaken it for happiness. Maybe in my case, evil showed up at Survivor Series. And in your case, Shawn Michaels, maybe evil showed up at the Royal Rumble. But when this roller coaster ride is over, Shawn, when it is over, it has come up and has come down, and the ride comes to a halt, and the smoke clears, I will be standing the man. I will be standing the man.
And your roller coaster's on fire.
And the master.
I ain't riding it.
And the ruler.
truer words have never been spoken from the master and ruler of the world.
Oh, these are gold. These really are.
Evil is exactly that, Glenn. It is evil. But sometimes it can be confused as happiness.
Oh, great.
Oh, so thank you, Psycho.
I'm gonna miss him. We are gonna miss him.
When he's gone. You're right. Darn it.
He's not gonna be around for much longer, is he? So.
No, he really isn't gonna. He'll be off to WCW to break his leg here soon. We get an interview with Owen and Davey in the back. Vince brings up Owen tossing Davey out of the Royal Rumble. Owen tells Vince to drop it. Then Vince also brings up how Bulldog called Owen an idiot, which Owen didn't seem to like. He tells Owen it was an Bulldog, it was an accident, not to call him an idiot. Bulldog says it wasn't an accident, and you know it. So the rift between them is getting even deeper.
Mm-hmm. Which is shown in the match that's up and coming.
Yep. So yeah, and the next match is one we have never seen before, Glenn. This is the first time ever in life we've seen this match. It's Owen Hart and the British Bulldog defending the tag titles against Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon.
Just before that, though, we have Doc Hendricks become the voice of God.
Oh yeah, right about old Doc showed up.
It's suddenly out of nowhere, this booming voice, and Doc Hendricks appears. Vince says he's in the skybox or something. But he carries on commentating.
He does for I think for only this match though, which is kind of a shame because you'd rather have JR definitely calling this match with Vince instead of Doc Hendricks.
Yes.
But yeah, we've seen this one before. They also let us know that Doug Furnas is sick with the flu while this match is going on. So I messaged you this while I was watching this match, and I really believe this too. They should show these matches of Furnas versus and LaFon versus Owen and Davey at the Performance Center to up and coming tag teams to show you how heel versus babyface tag team wrestling is done. Because this was great. They cut the ring off. They're doing quick in and out tags. Really good stuff. I really want to find some Furnas and LaFon stuff from Japan. Tag.
I'll send you some.
Perfect. Please do. Glenn, what did you think about this one?
Again, really good. I like the idea that Furnas and LaFon actually get the win, even though it's by count out, because Owen and Bulldog are arguing outside the ring and get counted out.
Yeah. That was basically like the undertone of this match was Bulldog and Davey having problems. But there was at one point Bulldog's like flexing his muscles out to the crowd.
Yeah.
While Owen's trying to tag him in. Then Furnas kind of rolled Owen up, and then when Owen kicked out, he pushed Furnas into Bulldog, knocking him off the apron. So then they almost came to blows in the ring because of that. And then my only problem with this match was the crowd did not seem to give a lot of these matches. The crowd did not seem to give a single solitary fuck about any of it. If it wasn't Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels, they just didn't seem to care about none of this. So no crowd reaction in this. LaFon reverses the hip toss into a DDT, gets a 3 count on Owen, but the referee notices that Owen's foot was on the rope before the 3, so we get a bit of a false finish there. Owen tries to toss LaFon into Bulldog so he can backdrop him over the top rope. LaFon reverses it. Bulldog back body drops Owen out of the ring, which leads to Owen being counted out, and Furnas and LaFon win by count out, but do not win the titles. But like Glenn said, kind of can further the story and maybe have these guys face off one more time, being that, the first time Owen and Davey won by, shenanigans, and the second time they won by count out. Glenn, so do you think this is the last time you think we'll see these guys face off?
Probably not. Don't think there's anybody else in the tag division at the moment, is there?
I haven't seen any besides the Godwins. That was the only tag team I saw.
That was them.
Or Vader and Mankind, but that didn't seem to work out, did it?
No, you would call them a tag team so much.
And then they show Owen kind of running up the aisle. He was playing he's playing up a knee injury earlier, and now Bulldog seems to be pissed at Owen for the whole situation, which I think Bulldog's just looking for reasons to be mad, because if I'm Owen, I'm like, we're a heel tag team, dummy. Why I lost by countout? We're still the champions. This is what we do.
Yeah.
They show us more footage from the Royal Rumble with Ahmed Johnson beating Farouk with a 2x4. We then get an interview with Ahmed Johnson talking about the main event with him and The Undertaker taking on Farouk and Mankind in a no-holds-barred match. And sort of like a Sid promo, an Ahmed Johnson promo has a lot of fun in it too. So let's have a listen.
Well, Ahmed, right here last week on Raw, we saw you on the hunt. You were chasing the Nation of Domination. You broke down a door. You chased their automobile off the premises. What's in store for the Nation of Domination tonight?
You know what, JR? I got something in store for everybody, including you and Gantz. Because guess what? I don't take my Prozac anymore. And when I get off Prozac, brother, you don't know what might happen to you.
And what about this Nation of Domination, Ahmed, that continues to grow? Savio Vega turned his back on you as well.
Savio! You want to join him? Join him! But I promise you, you will play without the rest!
That was better than the Sid promo.
Passionate, to say the least.
Very passionate. And he's off his Prozac.
He's
So.
off his Prozac, yeah.
You don't
It
like
showed.
him.
And it shows.
Yeah, it definitely did. They also showed Crush and Savio making their way down to the ring. And then The Undertaker showed up in the promo too and sort of just grabbed Ahmed Johnson by the neck.
Well, this is brilliant, because Ahmed's just out to kill. We know he's out to kill the Nation.
Yeah.
And Taker's and grabs hold of him and says, you go out there now and you're on your own, but we go out there together and you'll get your hands on him.
Yeah, we'll bury him together, I think is what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. But
yeah, and so then they go back to the ring and we are getting Goldust taking on Crush. Is the 1990, which Crush and Goldust are also members of the 1997 WWF Raw All-Star team, because they're always all over the shows too. But I think this is the first time we saw Goldust since the Royal Rumble, though. I don't think we've seen him since that match with Triple H.
no.
Yeah, I don't think so. You can hear the fans loudly chanting "Jailbird" at Crush, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah. But again, it was a decent match, as you would expect from these two. But more shenanigans.
More shenanigans. Yes, Triple H makes his way out to the ring midway through the match. Crush uses the distraction to take advantage of Goldust, dropping him chest first against the barricade. There's a lot of punching, kicking, and chin locks in this match. I felt like the main moves in this one. Starting to pick up a little bit at the end. The finish comes when Goldust is about to hit the Shattered Dreams on the Crush, but Clarence Mason distracts the referee. Vega gets in the ring, hits a spinning heel kick on Goldust, and Crush gets the win after a heart punch. And like Glenn said, another screwy finish. That's our third screwy finish of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So, if wrestling was better back then, perhaps you should go back and watch it, because maybe it was the same. The next, you remember this weird promo video that we got after that, Glenn? A new tag team coming in.
Yeah. I can't remember them.
They were the new Blackjacks. They were showing Blackjack Mulligan in a fire.
Oh, but wasn't Bart Gunn part of the new?
No, Bart Gunn would be a member of the new Midnight Express, I think.
Right.
The new Blackjacks. That was going to be my next question. Was to ask you if you remember the new Blackjacks, but I believe it's Barry Windham and JBL. I believe are the new Blackjacks.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, JBL. I knew it was somebody like that.
So we'll have another tag team on the horizon in WWE to challenge Bulldog, Owen Hart, and Doug Vanessa Philippon, the new Blackjacks.
Thank God.
I've been a wrestling fan for a long time. So have you, Glenn. Does anything new ever usually work out?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
No, it does not.
And history proves that this didn't either.
Yeah, and history. We will cover more of the new Blackjacks as we go through 1997, and I don't think it's going to end well. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels comes out to the ring next, which he was all dressed in his gear too for action, and he never wrestled.
Yeah.
So I thought that was strange too that him and Bret Hart both dressed in their gear but didn't wrestle. He probably had a dark match, I'm sure. One thing I thought was really interesting in this is that JR was saying as Shawn was making his way down to the ring that Shawn Michaels' best years were ahead of him, and I don't think truer words have ever been spoken because I know like Shawn Michaels is going to have a lot of professional ups in '97 and '98. But then he's going to go down. And I would venture to think, and I think that Shawn Michaels would agree, I think that he was a much better wrestler and much better in a mental place when he came back in 2002 than he ever was in 96, 97, and 98. So JR was very, what's the word? He could see the future with that one.
Yeah. Clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant, that's the word. That's a big word for a hick like me. Vince then asked Shawn about his big what Sid said about him earlier in the evening. HBK says the WWF title brings the worst out of some WWF superstars. That includes him, and that if being bad is what it takes to be the champion, then he is going to be the baddest guy the WWE has ever seen. And if you talk to some people in the locker room, I bet you they would agree.
Again, well documented. Either Shawn agreed.
Yeah. Absolutely. Vince then asked Shawn about some of the things that Bret Hart has said about Shawn Michaels, and let's hear what Shawn had to say on the subject.
Bret has had some pretty harsh things to say about you, and I wonder, even in Canada, would you respond to some of the things he has had to say about you?
Certainly. See, I'm very used to being disliked. Because when you've got this and you're honest, people tend to dislike that. Everybody hated Muhammad Ali while he was the world champion. Now, everyone refers to him as the greatest of all time. Bret, you can be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. If that's what you want to call yourself. One thing you will not call yourself right now is the World Wrestling Federation champion.
Ooh. What do you think about him comparing himself to Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, well, I could actually see the point he was getting at, but it's a bit of a stretch.
To say Muhammad Ali is a bit of a stretch. This, of course, brings Bret Hart out to the ring.
Yeah.
And Bret Hart is going to say pretty much the exact same thing that we just said. So let's have him say it.
Muhammad Ali, I don't think so. Dennis Rodman, maybe. I try to like you, but I find it harder and harder and harder all the time. You know, when I think of all the things I've said about you, I think you capped it best yourself when you called yourself a degenerate. And you may pride yourself on being able to be a complete and total jackass. As far as I'm concerned, you're nothing but a punk.
Okay, then I'll stop you now. I'll be a jackass, I'll be a degenerate, I'll be whatever you want. And I'll also be the heavyweight champion of the world.
Here's Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And as you heard at the end there, Stone Cold then does come out, attacks Bret Hart from behind. I really like that whole Muhammad Ali. I don't think so. More like Dennis Rodman. I thought that was really good.
It's just the whole thing. It's just so, talk about having a go at him, and then he calls him a degenerate and something else, and then a punk, and he takes objections to being called a punk.
Well, he's like a degenerate and jackass. I will not be called a punk. Goddammit. I won't. Yeah, Austin attacks Bret. They brawl on the outside. Sid comes out to the ring. I don't know why Sid came out to the ring because he didn't even do anything. He just came out there.
Yeah, I got that as enough. I had the three bullet points of HBK, Bret, Austin, and then Sid ?
Yeah. I don't even think Sid knew why he was out there. He was like, why am I out here? I don't even know what I'm doing.
Somebody just out the back, push him out, get him out there. Just stay
Get
here.
back out there. We promised these people 2 appearances of Sid. Now get out there. We go to a commercial break. We come back. Austin and Sid are gone. It's just Bret and Shawn in the ring. Shawn kind of lays the belt down in between the 2 of them. Then him and Bret have a stare down. HBK tries to pick the belt up. Bret puts his foot on it. Shawn takes his jacket off. Bret picks the belt up, acts like he's going to hand it to Shawn Michaels, but then just drops it on the ground and instead leaves.
Yeah.
So it was just 2 grown men having a 12-year-old pissing match on the playground with a basketball.
Yeah, basically.
And then we got a big contract signing, Glenn, for Tiger Ali Singh. I don't remember this man at all. How about you?
I do.
Okay.
He was only in there for a cup of coffee, but I do remember him being there.
He must have been a big deal in Canada because they had a huge thing in the ring with a whole bunch of people before Raw went on the air. I guess they had everybody out there. Bruce Pritchard, Shane McMahon, even Bret Hart was out there.
Yep.
They said he was the grandson of someone, but I can't remember whom.
Was it Tiger Dozier Singh?
That's what it was. Okay. Well, I'm sure we will hear a lot from Tiger Ali Singh in the future. We won't. The next matchup was for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Mark Merrow taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley. They let us know that Sable and Mr. Hughes were not allowed in the building tonight. They showed footage of Mr. Hughes and Sable both getting involved in matches with Merrow and Hunter over the last couple of weeks, and that's why they're not allowed to be in the IWC.
I was thinking about this because if you think of how Hunter came out drooling over Marlena earlier, he's obviously on heat, and it was probably Mark Merrow who said, I don't want Sable anywhere near him at the moment. He's on the heat, so we'll keep her at home.
He's on the heat, yeah, for sure. They're telling us during this championship match, Glenn, that at Final Four, whoever the champion is will face Ahmed Johnson for the title, and I feel like that might be another bait and switch that they're telling us there, because I don't think that match happens. Again, the crowd gave absolutely no fucks about this match, and
why would they?
But it was also in a dome, so I don't know. Maybe the sound just goes all up, but I also didn't see anyone standing or sitting. I didn't see any people standing up. I just saw people sitting on their hands. I mean, seriously, at times this arena was quieter than WrestleMania 36.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't remember, WrestleMania 36 was the one that didn't have any fans.
Yeah.
It was a decent match, though. I didn't think it was terrible. What do you think?
No. To be fair, this whole show, it's 2 weeks running where they had a few pay-per-view worthy matches on Raws.
Absolutely. I think this was one of them, too, because this was a good match. Hunter takes the turnbuckle turnbuckle pad off. Merrow hits a Merrow salt for a 2 count. Merrow sees the turnbuckle pad on the mat, shows the referee. Hunter then pulls some brass knucks out of his boot, Ric Flair style, and knocks Merrow out while the referee isn't looking and gets the 3 count for the win to remain Intercontinental Champion. So I thought it was a really good match. I just wish there was a little more crowd noise.
Yeah, I love the commentary on this, though, that they were discussing where he suddenly got them from. It was... I think the king says he got him out of his boot. Bitch go, what? What?
Huh? What goddamn? They go, no way. There's no way. There's no one would keep brass knuckles in their boot. Meanwhile, Jerry the King Lawler's got brass knuckles in his boot right now. You never know when you might need them. And that takes us to the main event of the evening. It is Farouk and Mankind taking on The Undertaker and Ahmed Johnson in a no DQ match. These are 2 weird random tag teams.
I've got a theory as to why these are 2 random tag teams.
All right, let's hear it.
Basically, the main event here is Undertaker versus Mankind.
Right.
That is a pay-per-view worthy main event. So they sling in Farouk and Ahmed Johnson in there just to make it a sort of a bit more of a mishmash.
Makes sense.
Which it wasn't.
No.
Because all that happens is Ahmed Johnson and Farouk chase each other around a bit, then up the ramp, and leave Mankind and Undertaker to put on a bloody good match. I love this. This is why I am wearing the old t-shirt tonight, in honor of this match and this man being classic Undertaker right from the entrance, coming out, no nonsense, brilliant match with Mankind. Forgetting all the other little nonsense that went on with Farouk and Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get Mankind and Undertaker in the ring together, it's always magic because they brawl so well together and they just play so well off each other. I would put their chemistry in the ring up there with The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Definitely.
The Undertaker Mankind chemistry in the ring because it was just so good.
Yeah.
Farouk better watch out for chair shots from Mankind. I just asked Vader. That was a note that I made during this.
Yes.
Johnson comes to the ring with his 2x4. I wonder how he got that thing across the border, Glenn. Or do you think it was one of those situations where Hacksaw left one there?
Hacksaw left one laying around in that dome.
That's probably what it was.
Sky dome. Yeah, of course, he leaves them everywhere. So this is not the first time. Ahmed Johnson is known where Hacksaw Jim Duggan's stash of 2x4s is it? So
he has the map to them, like the treasure map on the Goonies.
Yeah.
The last thing I didn't think I'd ever see in this match, it's a no DQ match, was a sleeper hold, and we got one about 4 minutes in. Farouk locked in a sleeper hold, and I was just shocked because I didn't think I was going to see a sleeper hold. And we got one right away. And like you said, it was basically like two guys would fight in the ring, and then the other two guys would fight on the outside up the ramp, but they would really just focus in on the action in the ring.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really hard to keep up with it. They didn't keep cutting back and forth, which I was like dreading that they were going to do a bunch of cutting back and forth.
Yeah, so was I. But fortunately, we've seen enough of Ahmed Johnson and Farouk chasing each other that they didn't need to show a lot of that.
Right.
So we got the decent match in the ring.
Yeah, Johnson chased Mason to the back, and then Mason left, but then he came back with Crush and Vega. Johnson hit a Pearl River plunge on Mankind, which I always love that fucking maneuver. It's just a tiger suplex, but I always thought it was really fucking cool. Farouk broke up the pin, gave Ahmed Johnson the biggest wedgie of all time. You remember this one?
Yes. Certainly made his eyes water.
Ahmed Johnson could taste his jockstrap. That's how far he pulled that underwear up his ass.
Oh.
I haven't seen anybody give another wrestler a wedgie like that since the last time Charlotte faced Sasha Banks. Anytime Charlotte wrestles, watch. She's fucking known for the wedgies. You got to watch out for her. Then he gave him a Dominator. Mankind brings in a chair, but he kind of runs up the Undertaker with it, and he gets booted back into his face, of course.
Yeah.
Then things really start to break down as Johnson chases off the Nation members with this 2x4 and with Farouk as well. Vader then hits the ring. There was a powder spot in this too, wasn't there, Glenn?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so at some point, Mankind's got the powder in his hand. Undertaker kicks his hands and the powder goes in his face. Then Vader hits the ring. He hits a big splash on the Undertaker. Tries to hit the Undertaker with the chair, but misses and hits Mankind. Payback is a bitch, Glenn.
Yeah, that's right. And the look on Vader's face when the Undertaker just sits up. As I say, it's classic Undertaker. Even down to the not getting up groggily, but just the perfect sit up. And Vader goes, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. And then Vader even hit him with a chair shot, which takes him completely no soul. And Vader's like, "Well, I'm out of here."
Yeah, that's it. I'm gone.
He hits the tombstone on the chair.
Okay, Mick, you're on your own.
Yes. Well, I mean, Mankind did that to him after he clobbered him with the chair, so I guess it was only a turnabout as fair play. So yeah, the Undertaker hits the tombstone on a chair to Mankind for the win, and Undertaker and Ahmed Johnson get the win here. So that's it for this episode of Monday Night Raw. Glenn, of all the promos that you heard on this thing, what was your favorite one?
Oh, it's going to be Sid. It's going to be Sid.
I'm going to go with Ahmed Johnson just because he's not on his Prozac anymore, and going into this, I thought that we were.
Sid's comedy gold. Sid's comedy gold. That's right.
Well, when Sid gets on the mic, you learn things such as evil is evil, and it's not
Yes.
happiness. So just know out there, people, sometimes if you're feeling happy, you might be feeling evil. I'm just saying. Take it from Psycho Sid. Coming into this thing, I thought we'd be agreeing on my next question, which is match of the week. I'm going to go Furnace and LaFon versus Bulldog and Owen, and I have a feeling you're going to go with...
I am going with the inverted commas tag match at the end.
Yeah.
Because I got to see Undertaker at his best. No selling chair shots, sit-ups, a bit of old school, the whole shebang from the Undertaker and Mankind. Absolutely great.
I'm pretty sure he did old school twice too, because I think he did it once to Mankind, did it once to Farouk. So
Yeah.
Those lucky Canadians, eh?
Yes.
What did you think was what do you think the worst match on this show was? Because I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot of bad on this show.
No, just for the way it finished, I suppose. It's got to be Austin and Vader, just because too many shenanigans. The referee knows selling the ref bump, and
yeah, that was weird. I'm just gonna go with Saudi Omega versus Flash Funk, just because it was a shorter match, and there's a lot of shenanigans in that one too. But really, we always say, if thumbs up or thumbs down, I'm going 2 thumbs up on the show. I thought it was really good. I think
2 thumbs up.
Yeah. So next week, Glenn, it's going to be Thursday, Raw Thursday. We're going to get Shawn Michaels versus Sid. No, we're not. And Vader versus Bret Hart. I also know that Triple H defends his Intercontinental Championship against one Rocky Maivia on this show, so I know that's going to take place.
Oh,
so tune in next week, and
that's going to be a 5-star classic.
I'm sure it will be. All right, Glenn, is there anything that you need to plug before we get out of here?
I get so few follows from wrestling folk on Twitter anymore. So at GA WrestleNut on Twitter, give me a follow. I'll follow you back. Don't worry. I'll get fed up with all the sex bots.
Yeah, they're
following me, blocking them, and apart from that,
Elon, why can't you do something about that, Elon? Since you're so fucking smart. Okay, sorry.
That's right. Yeah, don't do anything about that, because they're the ones that are probably paying for their blue ticks now.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, apart from that, Andy's back. Bang Bang Podcast is back on the air. Give him a listen. Different guests every week. He had a special with his original co-host. Hopefully one day I will as well.
Maybe, Glenn, maybe.
Maybe.
You only hope.
But, which is hilarious. Give that a listen. I'm booking the territory. I'm booking the Tankatory. And the Doctor Who podcast, all with Dan, UTT Rob, and Cy, and the whole gang over there. They're worth a follow, and give them a listen. And of course, DC and Doc at DDT Wrestling, which is getting less and less wrestling and more DDT.
But yeah, that's it. Make sure you check out Sports Wire Radio and give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow at Thomas Bryce 2017. Me and Glenn got a new project coming out very soon. It's going to be called A Cup of UK Heritage, where we're going to go back and review every single UK Heritage Cup match from NXT UK history. I think it only went on for a couple of years, right, Glenn?
Yeah, it's not going to, because we're going to be doing the not that long of matches either. So we'll be doing like 2 or 3 matches a show. So it's not going to be a long run. Not like this one.
No, it's not going to be there's probably going to be about 12 episodes, I feel like. And it's going to be a shorter show. It'll be 15, 20 minutes. If you don't know the rules of the Heritage Cup, or you don't know what that is, head over to our YouTube page. I got a video up right now that kind of explains the rules and everything of the Heritage Cup. So check that out.
It is banging, that promo video. Give it a check.
I thought you meant just Heritage Cup matches in general, which they are banging. Absolutely.
Heritage Cup matches in general are, but your promo video for it is as well.
Thank you, pal. Thank you. So yeah, check that out. That's on YouTube. That's it. I got nothing else to say. The only thing left for us to do is for Glenn to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's my life in the box in front of me. Take it off in my arms, it's the soul of me. You walk by.